Good morning, Her Excellency Ratu Silvi Gayatri, Ambassador of the Republic of Indonesia to the Republic of Finland and accredited to the Republic of Estonia. Honorable Speaker, Mr. Muhammad Nail El-Himam, Deputy for Digital Economy and Creative Product, Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy, Mrs. Ulane Wilumets, Heads of Business Development Team E-Residency, Republic of Estonia, Mr. Jubilar Paskoro, Acting Director of Interagency Relation, Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy, and our Indonesian startup, we have Mr. Asep Bagja Priyandana from Tanibox, we have Mr. Reza Permadi from Aturin, Mr. Lucas Limanjaya from Calm. And a warm welcome to our dear colleagues and participants from Indonesia, Estonia, and also Finland to this hybrid webinar with the title of Estonia E-Residency, a gateway for Indonesia creative industries expansion to the European market. This webinar is a collaboration between the Indonesian Embassy in Finland and the Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy of the Republic of Indonesia and E-Residency team of the Republic of Estonia. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Erli Wijayani from Indonesian Embassy in Helsinki. And together here with my colleague, Mrs. Sheila Rizkia, we will be your facilitator for today's event. Ambassador and honorable speakers, with the support of Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy, as well as Startup Bandung and our Indonesian diaspora, today there are more than, I think, 40 startups participating in the webinar, ranging from e-commerce, education, modern or urban agriculture, entertainment, creative, economy, travel operator, fintech, digital agency, games, and many more. And before we continue the program, allow Ms. Sheila to explain about today's event.
Okay, so the webinar will be commenced by Her Excellency Ibu Ratu Silvi Gayatri, Ambassador of the Republic of Indonesia to the Republic of Finland and accredited to the Republic of Estonia. And then there will be keynote remarks by Mr. Muhammad Nail El-Himam, Deputy for Digital Economy and Creative Products, Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy of the Republic of Indonesia. After that, in the first session, we are going to listen a presentation from Ms. Ulane Wilumets, Head of Business Development Team from E-Residency of Republic of Estonia. And then after that, there will be second session, sharing session by 3 Indonesian startups. The first is from Mr. Asep Bagja Priyandana, CEO of Tanibox, agriculture startup, Indonesia, Estonia e-resident holder. After that, there will be Mr. Reza Permadi, co-founder and COO of Aturin. Then there will be Mr. Lucas Limanjaya, co-founder of KALM. There will be a session of discussion, interactive discussion. Lastly, there will be closing remarks by Mr. Jubilar, Acting Director of Interagency Relations from the Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy of the Republic of Indonesia. This event will be done in English. However, if you would like to comment and ask a question in Bahasa Indonesia, we will help you translate it into English. For the participant that couldn't join on this Zoom meeting session, you can join through Indonesian Embassy YouTube channel. The event will take about 1.5 to 2 hours. And if there is immediate question and answer within a session of speaking from the speaker. You can just write it on the chat if you have immediate question. Then welcoming remarks from
Ambassador.
Ratu. Yeah. Without further ado, allow me to open the floor to Ambassador Ratu Sylvie Gayatri to deliver her welcoming remarks. Ambassador, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Sheila. Thank you very much. Yang terhormat Deputi Digital Ekonomi dan Produk Digital Kementerian Pariwisata dan Ekonomi Kreatif, Bapak Muhammad Nil L. Himam. Yang terhormat Bapak Jubilar Baskoro, Acting Director for Interagency Relations, Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy of Indonesia. Yang terhormat Head of Business Development Team E-Residency, Republic of Estonia, Ms. Ulain Filomets. Yang terhormat Bapak Asep Bagja Priandana dari Tanibok, kemudian Bapak Reza Permadi dari Aturin, kemudian yang terhormat Bapak Lukas Dimanjaya dari KALM, yang terhormat dan saya banggakan rekan-rekan penggiat ekonomi kreatif dan para peserta webinar yang berbahagia. Selamat pagi, selamat sore, very good morning to you. I'm very pleased to welcome all of you to this forum to support the momentum of 2021 as an international year of creative economy for sustainable development and to fulfill the wish of Indonesian startup companies to learn more about Estonian E-Residency. I would like to join our MCs in welcoming very warmly to our speakers, especially Ms. Ulain Filomets. Thank you very much for your time to share a piece of information on E-Residency. And I really appreciate your presence to brief the audience on the matter. Also, Pak Asep Bagja, thank you for being with us to share your experience in joining the platform. Terima kasih juga kepada bapak-bapak ya dari Indonesia mewakili startup Indonesia. Ibu dan Bapak yang saya hormati, sebagaimana dimaklumi, Estonia is very well known to the world as an e-nation. Estonia has all these years been successful in developing and using the ICT to support the government's and businesses' activities. The government of Indonesia is keen to strengthen cooperation with Estonia in the field of ICT, particularly on cybersecurity and digital economy. There has been strong interest from both sides, and we have exchanged our views on how to develop this cooperation further. So I certainly am looking forward to witnessing our mutually beneficial collaboration in these sectors. Ms. Ulain Filomets, the majority of the participants of this forum are startup companies. And at the national level, we are very proud to say that Indonesia is the 5th largest startup country in the world. Indonesia has more than 2,000 startups. There are 4 other countries above us, namely the United States, India, United Kingdom, and Canada. Indeed, the pandemic has changed the way we do things in our daily lives. We are witnessing dramatic shift in business models. We have been trying to adapt to the new normal in order to survive. While some models are successful, others require tweaking and require to be more creative in finding new approaches. After all, creativity is key in a healthy competition. To name a few, there are startups and digital companies in Indonesia that have successfully provided solutions for health consultation for both physical and mental health, sleeping pods for health professionals in hospitals, project management tools for work from home arrangements, support for COVID-19 treatment through collaboration between insurance companies and financial technology companies, long distance learning such as intensive coding learning for public, digitalization for artists and creative actors, helping small businesses to reach wider markets, limiting the spread of COVID-19 virus through machine learning and artificial intelligence, and many more. With regard to the statistic of digital users in Indonesia, out of 271 million population, there are 175.4 million internet users and 160 million active social media users and over 300 million mobile phone connections. So from this basic information, I think the Estonian side will be able to foresee the potential cooperation with Indonesia. Ibu dan Bapak yang saya hormati, saya ingin sedikit berbagi bahwa sektor startup adalah sektor ekonomi paling cepat berkembang di Estonia. Sebelum pandemi, pertumbuhan lapangan kerja rata-rata 30%. Pada akhir 2019, Estonia memiliki 900 startup per 1,3 juta penduduk dan telah memberikan kontribusi yang signifikan bagi ekonomi negara dengan mempekerjakan sekitar 6.000 orang yang membayar lebih dari 75 juta euro dalam pajak kerja per tahun. Investasi asing di startup Estonia terus meningkat dengan memecahkan rekor 328 juta euro diinvestasikan di tahun 2018 dan di tahun 2019 naik menjadi 266,4 juta. Mungkin nanti akan ada update tentang statistik ini, silakan saja. Kemudian saya ingin menggarisbawahi bahwa Estonia menawarkan digital solution dalam berbagai sektor, baik di sektor pemerintah maupun di bisnis. Dan E-Residency merupakan salah satu produknya. Dengan menggunakan E-Residency, orang asing termasuk WNI dapat mendirikan perusahaan dan mendapat identitas dan status digital yang dikeluarkan pemerintah Estonia untuk akses ke lingkungan bisnis digital Estonia. Perlu dicatat bahwa E-Residency tidak memberikan kewarganegaraan, tax residency, physical residency, maupun hak masuk ke Estonia ataupun ke Uni Eropa. Jadi tidak bisa digunakan sebagai visa masuk ke negara tersebut. E-Residency dapat digunakan oleh para pekerja lepas atau freelancer, para konsultan, nomaden digital, wirausahawan mandiri, dan wirausahawan digital lainnya. Hal ini bermanfaat juga untuk mendapatkan pendanaan memasuki pasar yang lebih luas di Uni Eropa dan melakukan transaksi lintas wilayah tanpa mendirikan usaha secara fisik di Estonia. WNI dapat mendirikan startup di Estonia guna mendapatkan akses ke seluruh negara anggota Uni Eropa, antara lain dengan mendaftarkan startup visa. Estonia juga memfasilitasi untuk melakukan bisnis di Estonia melalui pemberian izin tinggal sementara untuk program bisnis. Tentu saja nanti kedua pembicara akan mengelaborasi tentang hal ini dan terutama pengalaman Pak Asep Pagja nanti akan sangat bermanfaat buat rekan-rekan penggiat startup lainnya. Teman-teman, kita semua telah menjadi saksi bahwa digital solution telah terbukti bermanfaat dalam membantu semua negara di bidang di masa pandemi ini, terutama di saat kita dihadapkan pada situasi karantina atau isolasi. Saya berharap digital solution juga mampu membantu internasionalisasi produk-produk Indonesia pasca pandemi, sehingga akan memberikan manfaat bagi pertumbuhan ekonomi yang berkelanjutan. Saya akan berhenti di sini untuk memberikan kesempatan lebih kepada para pembicara dan peserta. Dengan harapan forum ini memberikan manfaat bagi kita semua. Terima kasih kami ucapkan kepada rekan-rekan di Kementerian Pariwisata dan Ekonomi Kreatif atas kerjasama yang erat dengan tim ekonomi KBRI Helsinki untuk mempersiapkan acara ini. Ucapan terima kasih tak terhingga kepada para peserta dan pembicara. I wish you have a fruitful deliberation. Thank you very much for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih.
Thank you very much, Madam Ambassador, for your enlightening remarks. We know that we now know that E-Residency has a huge potential to be utilized by Indonesian professionals, Indonesians digital companies, and Indonesians entrepreneurs. Okay, now we are moving to keynote remarks that will be delivered by Bapak Muhammad Neil El Himam, Deputy for Digital Economy and Creative Products, Ministry of Tourism and Creative. We are really honored to have Bapak Neil here with us, as he will deliver a keynote remarks about the potentials and development of digital economy and creative products in Indonesia. Bapak Neil, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Madam Ambassador of the Republic of Indonesia to the Republic of Finland, accredited to the Republic of Estonia, Her Excellency Ratu Silvi Gayatri, Embassy of the Republic of Indonesia in Helsinki, Mrs. Erli Wijayani and Mrs. Sheila Rizkia, Head of Business Development, Team E-Residency, Ms. Ulana Filmets, Co-founder Tanibox, Mr. Asep Bagia Priyandana, Co-founder Calm, Mr. Lukas Limanjaya, Co-founder and CEO of Aturin, Mr. Reza Permadi, and on all participants, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan, salam Indonesia maju. Good afternoon, good morning, and probably good evening for some of you. 2020 is a tough year for all of us, both for Indonesia and of course for the world as well. The COVID-19 pandemic that has occurred since last year has brought big changes to all aspects of life, including in the economy. Data from Indonesian Statistics Bureau shows that the Indonesian economy in 2020 experienced contraction of minus 2.07% compared to 2019. The value of this economic growth is better than the value of world economic growth that experienced contraction of minus 3.5% in 2020. However, it is different in the digital economy in Indonesia, which one of the growing sectors in 2020. Indonesia and Vietnam are ASEAN countries that have experienced double-digit growth to 11% compared to 2019. Because almost every sector is now going digital, and I think that's drive for the our digital economy. Even today, Indonesia is a country that is the largest contributor to the digital economy in the ASEAN region with a value of more than 40%. This is, of course, supported by the existence of our 5 unicorns from Indonesia out of the 12 unicorn startups in ASEAN. The digital economy ecosystem, our digital economy ecosystem consists of not only talents, but also culture, richness, and product itself. Of course, the IP-based products, financial access to finance, infrastructures and technology, regulation, and of course, market, be that domestic or foreign international market, as well as digital market and offline market. Kemenparekraf or Baparekraf continues to strive to strengthen the digital economy ecosystem in Indonesia through various programs. One of them is called Baparekraf for Startup or Backup, which is a program that aims to build and strengthen the digital economy ecosystem by providing opportunities for local startup through incubation, in learning experience, mentoring, as well as networking. In terms of increasing digital talent, Kemenparekraf Baparekraf has been running the Baparekraf Developer Day since 2016, a program to bridge local developer with the latest technology platform to develop digital products, especially in the application subsector as well as in the game developing. And the Baparekraf Developer Talent or BDT, an expert class facilitation program for developers, digital developers, especially for Androids and front-end web developers, which aims to increase their capacity and quality so to match the industrial standards. In addition, we also continue to strive in terms of digital sovereignty in Indonesia. Digital sovereignty that includes individual creativity to create works an ecosystem that protects digital innovation produced by the Indonesian nationals, especially in strengthen local products and relations between state institutions with interest in the digital space. Through Estonians E-Residency, we hope to be able to help Indonesian creative economy players in opening the widest opportunity to market their creative products abroad, especially in the European Union through digital identity and status issued by the Estonian government. We also hope that more Indonesian creative economy actors will be enrolled in the Estonian E-Residency and get benefit from this program. Hopefully, this webinar brings opportunity for collaboration to be part of strengthening the digital economy ecosystem in Indonesia, especially in terms of opening opportunity for Indonesian products, as well as talents to enter foreign market, especially in the European Union. Thank you. Wabillahi taufiq walhidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Om Santi 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 Om. Thank you.
Terima kasih, Pak Neil. Thank you very much for the very comprehensive explanation regarding the potential of Indonesia digital economy. And now we are welcoming Mrs. Ulane Vilumets, Head of Business Development Team E-Residency from the Republic of Estonia. Mrs. Ulane will explain about what is E-Residency and what can it do to benefit your startup and e-commerce business to the European Union market and also Estonia. Mrs. Ulane, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much for inviting me to this event. It has already been very interesting for me to hear about Indonesia's achievements in the startup world and creative industries, and it's really cool to see how your government is really putting your back against this sector and helping the companies to expand. Let's check if my screen is... Can you see my screen? Are you able to see my slides?
Yes, very
Yes.
clear. Thank you.
Good. So my name is Ylana, and today here I am representing my government, the Republic of Estonia, and the E-Residency program of our government. But for the last 10 years before I joined the E-Residency team last year, I was actually in the same shoes as most of the listeners here today. I was an entrepreneur and I founded a startup platform that was a travel platform accessed globally. So in that sense, I know the pains and the experiences of the entrepreneurs trying to build their business and expand their business. I have been with the E-Residency team for almost half a year now, and I'm here to introduce the program. I'm not going to go into so much detail as we do in our own regular monthly educational webinars, where we really take the process of applying into pieces and go into very much detail. But today I'm going to give you a general overview, and because I don't know how well the listeners are informed, you can always later guide me with your questions and answers, so we can talk about what actually interests you. So let me start by maybe sharing a few words about Estonia. Estonia is a tiny country. If everybody knows where Indonesia is, then not everybody might know where Estonia is. I have traveled a lot in the world, and I have come to use this joke that you go to Finland and you turn left, because Finland is a little bit more well-known than Estonia is. We are a tiny country, but what we have done well is that we have a very digital society. 99% of our public services are completely accessible from online. Until last year, we had to say that there was one thing Estonians could not do online, and that was getting married. So before that, there were two things. You could not buy property. But last year, during the COVID situation, we even solved this. So now you can sit on your couch at home and you can actually have a notary appointment, sign all the documents, and buy an apartment by being in your own home and logging in and authenticating yourself online. So only the marriage is now offline. We are also a startup nation. Similarly to Indonesia, like I spotted that you said you have 5 unicorns. Estonia has also built 5 unicorns over the years, starting with Skype as the earliest and finishing up with Pipedrive now lately. We also have Bolt and TransferWise, as you may heard. And part of our digital development is the E-Residency program, which is what we call a government startup. So the E-Residency program by itself is not a typical government program. It is like a small team that is acting quite swiftly, and we like to think of ourselves as a startup team. The program turned 6 years old in December. And what it really does is that it helps Estonia to attract business opportunities and investments, and also support our nation's economic growth, just like you are aiming to support your creative industry and your startups. Also, a small secret aim is to spread awareness of our little country in the world. What is E-Residency exactly? E-Residency is a digital identity. In Estonia, everybody has an ID card which has a chip. So you use this to authenticate yourself online and log into all the services. Digital identity is the exact same thing, but without your photo on the document. So it is not a document like we have in Estonia, but it has all the other functionalities. So it's a digital identity that you use to access Estonian e-services. You can identificate yourself online, and you can give secure digital signatures with this. There is a global community of e-residents that give you a big network of interesting contacts and help you maybe build your business also. But what E-Residency is not, and it's important sometimes also to mention what it is not a travel document, it is not an actual citizenship or a real residency into Estonia, and it's not a visa to travel to Estonia. It is simply a digital identification way, authentication way to access services. And it also does not give you tax residency in Estonia. So that's also an important thing to understand. So E-Residency is basically the key or the login password and username to e-Estonia. And why you should be interested in this is because you can register and manage an EU-based company completely online. Once you have E-Residency card yourself, it is possible for you to log into our e-business registry, and it takes about 20 minutes to register a company in Estonia. You can later manage it completely remotely. You do not have to ever set foot in Estonia. So all documentation, all the paperwork, all the accounting, all the yearly tax reports, monthly tax reports, everything is done online. So you never have to actually be in Estonia to have an Estonian company. It also gives you a way to get into all the different services and sign documents. So if you need to, for example, sign a document with a cooperation partner in Estonia, it's all digital. We never use paper. We never scan papers and send stamped documents. So it's all online. And you get access to our startup-minded ecosystem that has nourished these companies to, for example, bring about Pipedrive or Bolt or TransferWise. So you get an access to this entrepreneurial and startup-minded ecosystem that we have in Estonia. From Indonesia, I see that there are 3 big groups of companies that this really benefits. And the first one is startups who are planning to raise capital on international level. So if you have startup team who is thinking about expanding their contacts and looking for investors in Europe, then for a European investor, obviously it is more familiar and more secure to invest into a legal entity that is registered inside the EU. Similarly, if you go to raise capital in the US, then probably the US investors will look at you and they will want you to be in the jurisdiction that they are in. So companies who are planning to go global and raise capital in Europe, E-Residency is a really useful thing for you, because then you have a EU-based entity. Also, expanding your services into European Union market, because then everything that you have to do, all the administrative work for your company, is going to be easier when it is an Estonian entity. The second big target group that we see is freelancers and people who sell their services working just for themselves. For example, designers, for example, programmers, for example, translators who are maybe doing copywriting or helping somebody with digital advertising, digital marketing. If your customers are in EU, then the same point that if you have an EU company and you invoice them, for the customer, it is more trustworthy if it's a company that is near them and they understand. So having an Estonian company when serving EU customers is benefiting also freelancers and creative professionals who are freelancing or who are working as digital nomads. Plus, you get access to various fintechs that allow you to receive payments more easily also from international customers. And the third big target group that we see on a rise is e-commerce, because e-commerce is obviously making a big growth because of the COVID situation in the whole world. But we see a big growth from the Asian market and interest towards e-residency due to the fact that the EU is the second biggest consumer market after the US. And to be able to sell your products in EU, you need VAT numbers in the EU, and again, administrating an Estonian company, getting first Estonian company and Estonian VAT number is very quick and easy once you have e-residency yourself. So that could be your step in to the EU market, and then later you can apply for VAT numbers in the other big markets like Germany, Spain, Italy, where it takes a little bit longer time. So Estonia is like a first connecting point because it is just quicker and easier than maybe in the rest of Europe. So these are the three big groups that we really see coming from Asian countries to e-residency. And all in all, we have 80,000 e-residents by now. And those e-residents have founded 16,000 companies. There is also a big portion of e-residents who just are fans of digital solutions. So they become an e-resident with no plan of creating a company, but just because it is interesting for them to be a part of this government startup or a borderless identity. The road to e-residency looks like this. So this is the process that you apply as a private individual. So e-residency can be granted only to natural persons, not legal entities. So you as a person, as an entrepreneur, as an owner of your business or a freelancer, personally, you apply for e-residency. You should somehow be able to explain why you are interested in becoming an e-resident and you have some interest in really using those e-services. So starting a company, expanding your business to EU, and all these things are really important when applying, because it is a government issued identity. And obviously the Estonian Police and Border Guard who gives out this card is interested in giving it only to those who have real interest in doing something business related and doing something that is benefiting our economy. So you have to have substantial interest in using Estonian e-services. If you already are an Estonian citizen or a resident of Estonia, e-residency is not for you. It's for those who want to run a paperless company from outside of Estonia. And it's open for all countries and citizenships. But right now we are restricted by the locations where we can actually physically give out the e-residency cards. The closest to Indonesia right now are New Delhi and Beijing and Abu Dhabi. Seem very far, but we are opening in the next few weeks. The official launch date is 20th of April. We are opening 2 more locations in Southeast Asia, and they will be in Singapore and Bangkok. We are, of course, secretly, I can tell you that we are working towards a cardless and contactless e-residency, but that is a plan that is going to take some years maybe to become true. So you may need to travel to a different country to pick up your e-residency card, because in the process of getting the card, you have to give fingerprints and identify yourself with a real document as well. The timeline of getting e-residency is roughly, I would say, a total of about 4 to 8 weeks, depending on the place where you receive your e-residency kit. You gather documents, you fill out an application form online. Then the Estonian Police and Border Guard will review your application. They say that they take 30 days to review it. In reality, it often takes less, but we cannot say, we cannot promise that it takes less. So officially it takes 30 days to review your documents. And then e-residency kit with the card will reach the pickup location within 2 to 5 weeks. And then you have time to pick it up in the next half a year. So it is not going to disappear anywhere if you are stuck in this COVID situation and you cannot, for example, travel to Singapore or Bangkok. The costs, the state fee for application processing is 100 to 130 euros. It depends on your pickup location. If it is an Estonian embassy, then it is 100 euros. And if it is one of our procurement partners, one of our other pickup locations, then it might be an extra fee of 10 to 30 euros as well. There's no annual fees. You can also change the pickup location if the situation demands. And then after 5 years, your status as an e-resident does not expire, but your card does. So you have to renew your card every 5 years. So it is another renewal fee of 100 euros, or if you need to replace it. Then I added here some quotes of why international entrepreneurs and startup founders have found this useful. One of the most well-known e-residents has really said that the time that it takes to found a company with e-residency, once you have the card, is so easy and so hassle-free that it really helps you to spend more time building your business, not doing the administrative work. So that is a big selling point of e-residency. Or no need to really visit notaries or have lawyers in starting your business, or any of that paperwork that sometimes scares off small entrepreneurs and startup founders. Because if you're already registering a subsidiary of a big corporation, then it's a different thing. But if you are a startup founder, then some of this paperwork may really put you off, especially when it's in a country where you don't live. But in Estonia, it is very hassle-free. Why Estonia is a good place to start the company? Some of these things I've already mentioned, but you could also check out some international indexes about Estonia and ease of doing business, including ease of paying taxes and other different things. We are always scoring really high. So Estonia is a quite zero bureaucracy country. We have a simple and low risk tax environment. Our tax laws do not require you to always consult with a legal advisor. So, for example, if you are a freelancer, then it is really easy to understand the taxes that you have to pay. It is not complicated. We have highly educated human capital. If you need to hire somebody in Estonia, then again, it's digital, contracts are digital, and we have a very liberal labor market. So it is easy to also hire part-time employees, freelancers. It is very straightforward. And we are an active member of international organizations, including the European Union, NATO, OECD, and a lot of others. Everybody in Estonia speaks English. Older generation like me also speaks Russian. And company registration in a nutshell looks like this, that once you have your e-residency card and you have collected it, then you choose a business service provider who can help you do the Estonian accounting. You also need an Estonian contact person and legal address, which these accounting companies offer. And then you log into the company registration portal, register your company. Like I said earlier, it takes about 20 minutes if you do it yourself. I have done it numerous times. And if you need to, if you have some kind of a business field where you need to apply for a license or register your activity, then you can do that also online. And the last step is applying for a business banking account, for which there are numerous options that you can use. Contact person and legal address, like I mentioned, is a mandatory local service. So even though you are in Indonesia and you have a legal entity in Estonia, the one contact point that the Estonian government needs for you is an authorized legal address service provider, where all the correspondence that you should be receiving in Estonia to your company's address is received and forwarded to you. So that's like a next layer of sort of security that the information reaches the actual recipient. And these companies are available on the E-Residency website under a section called Marketplace. Marketplace includes also, besides the accounting and legal services, it also includes other interesting services that a startup company registering with E-Residency might need. We have some companies that are very well acquainted with the e-commerce sector, and they can help with many other things like registering your business on Amazon for the EU market and doing all kinds of different things. And there are also options for business banking that we have cooperated with and who have promised to service e-resident companies as well. The legal entity that most e-residents use in Estonia is a private limited company. Why? Because it is the easiest. It is most popular in Estonia. You can start it with one or more shareholders. It doesn't matter. The share capital requirement is quite low compared to Western European countries. In Germany, for example, starting a limited liability company requires a 10,000 euro down payment. In Estonia, that is 4 times less, and this payment can be deferred, which means that you can start your activities without putting this 2,500 euros down as a share capital down payment. You can already start, but then in a later stage, you can decide when you want to put the share capital down payment into the company. You cannot take out profit as dividends before you have done so. And deferring it does not mean that you are not liable for your company's liabilities in the same amount of 2,500 euros. And the registration process of a private limited company is the easiest and quickest. If you want to establish a subsidiary of your existing legal entity in Indonesia, which is also possible, then there are 2 ways. You can have a daughter company, which is a separate legal entity, and you have legal presence in the EU. The share capital contribution in that case cannot be deferred. Or you can open a branch office, which is not a separate legal entity. No share capital contribution is needed, and it is suitable for business activity inside Estonia. For example, if you are importing, exporting something physical to Estonia. What is important to understand is that both of those require that you actually go to a notary to register, but then after that, they can be managed remotely with your E-Residency digital identity. And the company incorporation in Estonia, compared to other countries, is quite low cost. So in the rest of Western Europe, it is considerably more expensive. So registering a company is 190 euros as a state fee. Then if you use one of the business service providers for legal address and contact person, then those services start from 200 euros per year. So that is 15 something euros per month. And then accounting for a small company could be starting from 50 euros a month. I have a one-man company myself through which I provide some consultation myself. And for example, for a company like this, accounting is about 50 euros per month. So I can manage with that. And you might need to apply for some other business licenses, but most of the activities, of course, don't require a license. And I already mentioned that the share capital contribution can be deferred to the future to when you can put it in. For opening a business bank account, we have cooperation with several fintechs, and you have a choice between opening a bank account inside the EU anywhere. You can use a fintech because fintechs don't require to see you physically. They don't want you to actually show up in their office. The fintechs differ from banks because they don't give out loans, so they are not banks. That is the only thing that they don't do, but you can use them for everything else. Banks in Estonia require you to have a strong connection to Estonia, which means that for a small company, a freelancer, sometimes it is hard to get a bank account in a traditional conservative bank. But the bank that does open Estonian e-residence accounts is called LHV. It is an Estonian capital-based bank, and it is open to non-residents as well. And they require you to make a personal visit to the bank at the moment. So that's why we always recommend using fintechs, as fintechs really make it easier for starting an international business. The ones that we, for example, work with include TransferWise, Payoneer, Stripe. We also have started to work with a Swedish fintech called Intergiro, and we are onboarding some more in the near future. So these are some of the ones that you can use to do your business banking. And always the question of where will I pay my taxes? It is really important to understand that having an Estonian company is not a way to avoid taxes in your home country. That is a very important thing to understand. So even though Estonia considers Estonian companies as Estonian tax residents, each country is different in the way how they view a non-resident company in another country. So you should always check whether your activities in the tax laws create something that is called permanent establishment in another country. So if the service is provided in a different country than Estonia, most of the employees are hired in a different country than Estonia, then you may be liable for some taxes also in your own home country, in your country of permanent residence, which is different from a country to a country. So you should always really read through the section on our website that talks about taxes. And e-residency is not equal to tax residency in Estonia. It is an important understanding that you have to achieve. So that is like a short summary about taxes. And we always recommend checking out on our marketplace some service providers who know your local jurisdiction, your local tax environment. We are in the process of onboarding more companies from Southeast Asia as well, so that you can ask questions from them about how this applies to you. If you have a local Indonesian company that provides a service or produces a product for your local Indonesian customer, e-residency makes no sense to you. E-residency is for those who are building an international business, serving international customers and doing business on an international level. So that is not a way to avoid taxes in your home country. But the Estonian tax system is low risk and cost effective. We tax only distributed profit. So if a company does not pay profit out as dividends, it is not taxed. And you declare and pay all your taxes online in minutes. Per year, tax declaration filling takes about 50 hours. compared to over 200 and 300 in most Western European countries. And we have a very friendly tax authority, which is building quite innovative solutions on the background as we speak. From July 1st, for example, it is going to be possible to declare VAT in all other European Union member states through Estonian tax and customs board as well. So that is something that we like to be proud of, that our tax office is actually a friendly authority, not someone who is afraid, you need to be afraid of. So I'm going to finish with the details here, and I'm gonna give the floor to those that maybe want to ask questions in the chat, and then we can see from there. I have told you all the main things about the e-residency program that I felt being necessary and accurate for this audience, and I will be very happy to answer all the questions that you may have, so that we can take this conversation to where you would like it to go. Thank you very much.
We receive a question in the chat column, and the question is from Nomad.
Escape Nomad.
Escape Nomad. The question is regarding the pickup location for e-residency kit in Southeast Asia region. Why is it only chosen in Singapore and Bangkok? Is there any reason for that? And is there any possibility to extend it in the future to open in Indonesia, for example, in Jakarta or in Bali? And then Escape Nomad also add another question. If the reason was only to take biometrics of the person, why is this not administered also under the embassy? I think it's maybe the embassy of Estonia. I think you have the question. You have the answer of this question. Please, Ulane.
So first of all, thank you very much for very informed and intelligent questions. Of course, it would be really nice if we could have a pickup location in Indonesia closer to you. It has been a big project for us to open these 4 new pickup locations in quite far away places for our government. So we chose Bangkok and Singapore in the first phase because the places are quite easily accessible for international travelers in the whole Southeast Asian region. So in that sense, Thailand and Singapore seemed like good options because they would be like the most easily accessible. A big target group for e-residency in Southeast Asia are also digital nomads, not from those countries, but from other parts of the world who are living in Southeast Asia. And also for them, the convenience of the flights from Singapore and Bangkok was considered. It is a good question why we do have a consulate in Jakarta, but there's certain technical requirements that the pickup location needs to have. So that in that sense, we cannot give it out in the consulate in Jakarta, but in the future, we are going to open a good portion of new pickup locations in the rest of the world as well. Jakarta may well end up among those if we see a big interest from Indonesia for e-residency. It is a criteria that we consider when we see that there is a massive growth in interest, for example, on our website about people checking it out and not applying because they don't have a pickup location close to them. Then we do take it into consideration in the next round of choosing the pickup locations. And that also answers the question about the biometrics, that we need certain technical requirements. And for these 2 new pickup locations in Southeast Asia, the procurement process of finding this procurement partner who is able to do this technically for us was actually a quite long process by the police and border guard. So there's a lot of conditions that have to be fulfilled, and that's why it's not so easy to do it in any embassy. unfortunately.
If there is more question from the audience, you can raise your hand and you can also ask directly to Ulane.
I see all the other questions I see are all in Indonesian, which I cannot read.
Yes. We have a question. Okay. There is a question in Indonesian. This one is from Edukasi 4.0. They just wondering if this kind of system, like a digital system, E-Estonia, can be implemented in the, I think it's in the urban region in Indonesia. What do you think about this? Because they have an idea to have this kind of pilot project in one of the village. The idea is in this village they would like to be they would like to have it more digitalized, either in education, e-commerce, and other areas. What do you think? Is it possible for in throughout or in some Indonesian village to be a pilot project to have this kind of e-residence or e-Estonia?
First of all, everything is possible when it's implemented right? So it really depends on like what you want to achieve and whether there is cooperation from the public sector side, whether there is enough internet usage, whether services can really be taken online in the sense that does everybody have access to internet and smartphones. In Estonia, in education also, we use a lot of e-services. For example, it used to be that you go to school and the teacher writes you a note in your paper diary. Yeah, we don't have these anymore. We have e-school. So parents log in and everything that their child is doing in school, they can see what the teacher has notified them about. And education technology is one big thing that also is enabled by this digital Estonia. So anything is possible if you have the right conditions fulfilled, and you can build something. And we are always happy to share our experiences about how Estonia has done it. It requires, from our experience, we can say that it requires a very strong wish and openness from also the public sector side, from the government side, to support these developments. As private sector can build something until a certain point, but to make it usable for everyone and open to everyone, it requires also the input from the government. Any more questions?
Okay, there is one more question from Mitra Rencana Edukasi. They are financial planner company, and we help people to be more financially literate. One of our product is board game. We would like to be able to sell our board game to the European market. Can E-Residency help us enter European market in the sense of selling their services or product?
So yeah, E-Residency, like I said, E-Residency is the key to having an EU-based company that functions in this legislation and can easily apply for VAT numbers and all these things. So like, I don't know your business model exactly, how you plan to sell your board game or your financial planning products, but if you, for example, use Amazon to sell your game, then the same points that I mentioned when I spoke about the e-commerce apply to you as well, that having an Estonian company and getting the first VAT number in the European Union is your entry point. And then you can apply for those in other countries where the big markets where most of the customers are located are. The biggest customer bases probably would be in Germany, Spain, Italy, in those countries, not in Estonia, because Estonia is 1.2 million people. But the Estonian entity is a good way to start because it is compliant and accepted everywhere inside the European Union.
Okay. I think that there are one more point that I think someone is missed from your presentation regarding the pick-up point. Like previously in your presentation about the pick-up point of the E-Residency kit. Someone asked, I'm sorry, I'm missing a little in this point of the slide for the pickup location. Is it our postal address, for example, Indonesia?
Yeah, so
yeah, could you please explain?
Yeah, so we can give out the e-residency kit only in certain places, and currently, when you go to our website, and then you can choose right away from the first menu point pickup locations, and you can see where you can currently get your e-residency kit. Okay. We usually give it out in embassies. Mm-hmm. that have the capability, and then we now are adding also some
Estonian embassy, right?
Yeah, Estonian embassy. Yeah, it cannot be an embassy of another country in another country, but Estonian embassies. And also now we are adding a procurement partner that is a partner of our police and border guard, that is actually a visa agency who has the technological capability to do the biometrics, and we are opening also these privately managed pickup locations, and Singapore and Bangkok will be managed, for example, by this private procurement partner. So it's not delivered to your postal address, but like I also said, that on the background as our future vision, we are working on finding a way to replace the biometrics in this process and make e-residency contactless and cardless. But it is too early to promise any deadline for this big project that we are working on.
Okay. Thank you, Ulani. I think we can continue the question and answer session right after the next presenter. Because we are going to invite who, Sheila?
Mr. Asep Bagja Priyandana. Mr. Asep Bagja Priyandana is a CEO of Honeybox. He is going to share the experience of applying and having e-residency of Estonia. He will explain step by step in the application, tips for successful applications, experience after opening digital business in Estonia, and probably plans forward. So, Mr. Asep, we are honored to have you here. The floor is yours.
Okay. I will share my screen. Wait. Okay. Is my screen showing in your side?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay. Hello, everyone, and good afternoon here in Indonesia, and good morning, maybe, in Finland and Estonia. So, I'm Asep. I'm an E-Residency holder since 2016. Also, I have already established company in Estonia since 2017. Currently, I cannot click this. Oops. Before I start, I will introduce myself. I'm a digital entrepreneur. Also, I'm a software and web developer with 10 plus years experience in the industry, mostly in Indonesia and some years in Singapore. And also, I become an resident of Estonia since 2016. With the reason when I applied the Estonia E-Residency is because it looks cool, because not because I want to make a business for the initial reason. Currently, I live in Denpasar, Bali. But after I have an E-Residency card for a year from 2016 to 2017, I decided to open my business in Estonia. So currently I have 2 Estonian companies. The very first one is Tanybox. We built a farm management software called Tanya. The website is in tanybox.com and the open source software is in usestania.org. You can take a look at it. And we incorporated it in 2017. And the second company is All Trades Digital. I built algorithmic trading platform for cryptocurrency market and the stock market. This was established in 2020, just in the pandemic. So I will in this talk I will share my journey when building the Estonian company and the difference when I built Tanybox and All Trades Digital, because we have 3 years separated time here between Tanybox and All Trades Digital, and there's many things different in just 3 years. So the background, why did I apply to E-Residency program? Actually, in 2016, until 2016, I did not know where Estonia is. I don't know, because it's a tiny country and also not very famous here. But I found Estonia because of my friend is studied in University of Tartu, and I asked her about where is Estonia. Oh, okay, Estonia is in the southern of Finland. So this is a small country, and then after that I was googling about Estonia, and luckily I found about the article about Estonia E-Residency. I learned a lot about the E-Residency program, and I think it was very cool. So I tried to apply to E-Residency program, and after that I collect the card in Singapore and just posting it on the Instagram, and after that I put it on the drawer because I don't know what to do with that card at the moment. But in 2017, after I left my first business here in Indonesia, a digital marketing agency, I was building the Tanya open source management software with my wife. Then we built that in a year, and after that we published the open source software to the world. We put it online in Reddit, in the Y Combinator Hacker News, in also in some open source group. And after that, we got a lot of traction from the users that download the software of Tanya. And some of them are ask me about the customization of the software. And then my wife and I think we can capitalize this software and make a business on top of it. So after thinking about where to put the business, because because we all know that Indonesian bureaucracy is really tough when building the business. So I think we will use our E-Residency card. So we start learning about how to build a company in Estonia, and after that, we start incorporate our first company, Tanybox. So the step to apply E-Residency, already mentioned by Ms. Yulani. we go to eresident.gov.ee, fill the application form. There is there is no problem here, and we pay the €100 application fee. And also we wait for the approval process, and we pick up the card in the pickup point in Singapore. But unfortunately, there is no pickup point here in Indonesia, and currently this is my problem now, because in 2021, this year in June, my e-residency card will be expired. But luckily, I already have a smart ID app that still can be used until 2024. So I think I still can use it to log into my bank account and also to signing up document. And yeah, it's very, very convenient for me. Because since I use Smart ID app I forgot, in 2018 maybe, I never use my e-residency card again, because mostly we can log in just using the application from the phone to bank and also to any other government services like tax and also filing the financial report every year. And this is the step of incorporation. I will share the distinction that the distinction of the path that I chose when established the first company and the second company. Because when we established Tanybox, I didn't know really much about how to do that by myself. So I choose the business service provider that provide everything for me, like registering the business name to the e-business register, and also they will obtain the VAT number for me and doing all the accounting and financial reporting for me. But the downside of using the full service like that, the cost is really high. For Tanybox, the accounting is nearly €150 per month, and also for the virtual address, for the company address, they charge the provider charge me around 250, and for preparing the financial reporting, annual financial reporting, they charge me around €200 per year, and it's really costly actually. But for the second company, All Trades Digital, since I already know how to do that by myself, I use the business service provider only for the address and registering the company name to the e-business register. So also, I just know if the VAT number can be obtained after the revenue of the company is €40,000. So actually, when you establish the company, you don't need obtain VAT number from the very beginning. It will save you the accounting costs, because if you don't have VAT number, you don't have the obligation to report monthly to MTAC. MTAC is a tax agency service. Also, for the banking solution of the company, this is the very big issue that I found in the e-residency community, and many questions raised about the banking solution. Because the traditional banking solution is always need you to come to Estonia to give the interview, and also giving you the card and many things about bank. And for Tanibox, I used LHV Bank, and also I come to Tallinn to get the business account. And at that moment in 2017, we cannot pay the share capital by using fintech. If I remember that, we still need a traditional bank account like LHV to pay the share capital of the business register.
I will correct you. I will correct you.
Oh,
Now
yeah?
it is possible. It is possible.
Yeah, it is possible.
Yeah.
And now in 2020, when I incorporated the All Trades Digital, I did not use the traditional bank account again because yeah, it is in pandemic, so I cannot travel to Tallinn. And also it's really convenient by using fintech, so I can open the business account from my coach and then pay the share capital and register it to the business register. The fintech that I use is Wise, formerly TransferWise. So I just put.
Pak Asep, sorry to interrupt. Pak Asep, is it possible to turn off the Google Translate?
Google Translate?
Yeah, the one that you use in your
okay,
presentation.
sorry.
Yeah, it's okay because sometimes it does not translate correctly of what
Yeah.
you're saying. So I think it's confusing. So I think it's better not to use the Google Translate. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Is it? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Terima kasih Pak Asep.
Yeah. And also after that, also the different is the VAT number. When I established Tanibox in 2017, my business provider was obtaining the VAT number for me, and so this is my assumption. So I have to use their service every month to report to the MTAC. But for the second company, the All Trades Digital, I don't obtain VAT number because the revenue is far from 40,000 euro, and it saves me a lot because I don't have to report every month for the accounting to the MTAC. So my obligation is only to report the annual financial reporting. And then after incorporation, this is the benefit that I got from my Estonian company. I can access the world-class payment service such as Stripe because my business is SaaS, SaaS, software as a service. So I need the good payment service that can handle subscription in Euro and in USD. So Stripe is the biggest important for me. In Indonesia, we don't have access to Stripe account until now. Even though Stripe has a plan to operating in Indonesia since last year, but until now we cannot access Stripe. And also Wise.com, Indonesian surely can open the TransferWise account, but I use the Wise account for the business. So I use the business account, the WordPress business account. Then I can get their card, their debit card, and send it to Indonesia for me. And also I get customers and partners from several EU countries. For Tanibox, we have customers from Lithuania, from Portugal, from Netherlands, and also we have partners in Sweden and Hungary. And like Ms. Elaine said, the Estonian company is more get trustworthy because it is in the EU. And also no bureaucracy. Like when I established Tanibox, it's only take around 15 hours from registering the company and getting the VAT numbers. But for all trades digital, since I did not obtain the VAT number and also I use Wise as my bank, it only takes around 10 hours and we are good to go. We can go business in that speed. For comparison, I also have an Indonesian PT here. We built, when we registered the PT here in Indonesia, and it took 2 months. It's really, really long time, very long time. And also, Estonian company is suitable for company that build digital product or service, and that you would operation remotely. Because funny here is in Indonesia, I established the company this year for my e-commerce business for Indonesian market. I registered the company in Jakarta through the business service because I live in Bali and I want to use Jakarta address. But after the company has established and currently is COVID, I don't want to go to Jakarta. I come to the bank in Bali that the bank asked me about, do you have a store in Bali? We cannot open the bank account if you don't have address in Bali. So this is really funny. If you are selling a digital product or service, why the geography will block you? So with Estonian company, I sell my service and my software with the Estonian, with the company addresses in Estonia and the IBAN account in Belgium by using TransferWise, and it's okay, it's fine. There is no problem about the geography. And also when you apply to Estonia E-Residency, you must want to chat with other e-residents, Estonia e-residents. They have a community support. This is unofficial from Estonian government. Am I right, Ms. Ulane? This is unofficial, yeah. There is ERICA, Estonian Residents International Chamber Association. It's founded by other fellow residents from around the world, and you can join to that website and talk and find and networking with others residents. Also, we have a Telegram group with other entrepreneurs in t.me/eresidents. You can go there and ask many things and get support from other entrepreneurs and other residents. Also, when you are networking in that forum, you will get many advice about the cheaper business provider or the better or about the taxation. They can share their experience in the Telegram group and also in the ERICA website. So actually, that's all my experience from 2016 until now in 2021. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Asep. Terima kasih atas presentasinya dan sharing experience-nya mengenai pengalaman Pak Asep sebagai pemegang e-residency. Thank you for sharing your experience as a holder of e-residency. I think it is very eye-opener for all of us what to expect and what to do and what that can be a benefit to the intention of our fellow Indonesian business people, startup communities that would like to expand to the European market. And next, we also have the opportunity to listen to Mr. Reza Permadi, who is going to join and share about his startup, Aturin. Mr. Reza, are you ready? Hello. Pak Reza Permadi.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah. So, are you ready?
I'm in the venue now.
Okay. We still cannot see you.
Yeah, because I'm in the venue.
Oh, okay. So, yes, now we can see you.
That's me. Hi.
Hello. Hai Pak Reza. Silakan Pak Reza.
Halo. Oke, baik. Selamat sore semuanya. Good afternoon. Yang saya hormati Ibu Ratu Silvi Gayatri, selaku Ambassador Indonesia di Helsinki. Salam kenal Ibu. Yang saya hormati Bapak Muhammad Nel Imam, selaku Deputi dari Ekonomi Digital di Kemenparekraf. Happy to see you again, Pak Nel. Your Excellency, Miss Ulane, from E-Residency from Estonia, and Mas Wahyu Bagja ya, dari Tani Box. Kemudian yang saya hormati rekan saya Mas Lukas dari Kaum. So thank you for the great sharing for Miss Ulani and Mas Wahyu. I thought I want to follow Mas Wahyu ways because I thought the E-Residency Estonia is very cool and I want to be
I'm sorry, Asep,
cool
not
person.
Wahyu.
Oh, Asep, sorry. Mas Asep from Tanibok, sorry. Okay. Okay. I'm Permadi from Aturin, as a co-founder and COO from Aturin. And Aturin is a tourism and technology startup, and we focus as a trip planner, also a marketplace for tourism event in Indonesia. And our vision is to be one-stop services in Indonesia. So in this afternoon, I want to share about my experience running startup in Indonesia, also sharing about backup program Baparekraf for Startup is our Indonesian government program for supporting startup in Indonesia. So the first, boleh ke paparannya, slide saya. Okay, I want to share about my startup. It's Aturin, one-stop solution platform for traveling. Sorry. Gak bisa ya? Next. So beginning a journey as a startup in Indonesia is definitely not an easy because while to access updated and important information is limit, business startup in Indonesia have to face challenging and come up with effective solution. So running startup in Indonesia, there is a good thing and bad thing. The good thing is a big market. As we know, Indonesia have the most active internet users in Southeast Asia. And the second is the government support. The influence of Mr. President, Pak Joko Widodo, it's good for our country to develop a startup in Indonesia with the program of 1000 startup digital or 1,000 digital startup, local digital startup in Indonesia. That's why the good thing is government support. And the third is promising investment. Is the good thing in Indonesia, the big market, government support, and promising investment. And there's also bad things. The first is bureaucracy. Mas Asep told us about the bureaucracy and low credit card penetration and consumer behavior. Tech in Asia indicates as Indonesian people is a late adopter for as a consumer behavior. Okay. Next is the reason to establish startup in Indonesia. First is progressing domestic environment, and the second is government support on innovation. And the third is a startup city. As we know, it's Jakarta, Surabaya, Bali, Bandung, and Sukabumi with the Bukit algorithm. There's a startup cities in Indonesia, and that's why the reason to establish startup in Indonesia, because the government support on innovation with a lot of program like a backup Bapareka for startup and progressive domestic environment and also startup cities. So this is the backup 2020. Backup is a Kemenparekraf program, Baparekraf for startup, and Aturin become the top 3 startup in Backup 2020. So there is a COM and Plan B2 in Backup 2020. And this is the one of program that I think the best program acceleration or program for startup program to know about the startup in Indonesia. Next is, this is our milestone. I told before that Indonesia support about a lot of program startup Indonesia, and Aturin, we are following the several program like Gerakan Nasional 1000 Startup Digital and Visio Incubator, and also wonderful Startup Academy, Daya Maya from Koninfo, and a backup Bapareka for startup. So that's why I told you Indonesian government very support us for developing our startup. I think that is for me, because it's only 10 minutes, the time that give for me. So this is Aturin, and I think I interested to following the Mas Asep, like a Mas Asep in Tanibox to become a residency in Estonia. Maybe it's very weird because I just become the only one speakers to attend in this venue, but I hope we can meet in the other time. And I want to ask Mas Asep from Tanibox maybe later for how become to E-Residency Estonia. It's for me. Good afternoon, everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih Pak Reza. Dan kami sekarang mengundang Pak Lukas Limanjaya, co-founder dari CAM. And now we're inviting Mr. Lukas Limanjaya, co-founder of CAM.
Hello.
Hello. Ya, silakan.
Okay.
The floor is yours, Mr. Lukas.
Thank you. So let me share my screen first. Okay. Is it? Can you guys see my slide?
Can see your slide.
Okay. All right. Okay. So thank you everyone for inviting me. Good afternoon for the ones in Indonesia. I think Helsinki is during the day right now, so good day to you. I want to selamat sore juga yang terhormat Dubes Helsinki Ibu Ratu Silvi Gayatri, yang terhormat juga saya hormati Deputi Bidang Bekraf dan Ekonomi Digital Bapak Neil L. Himam, as well as Mrs. Ulani Vlemets. Thank you for joining us. It's an honor. I want to say also hello to our fellow startups, Bapak Asep, Mas Reza juga. Thank you for having me here. I guess my sharing will be a little bit different from Aturin. I think I'm just going to share my personal journey in doing a startup in Indonesia, mental health startup in Indonesia, and a bit of my experience also doing backup 2020. So what is Calm? Calm, a little bit of ourselves and our company. Calm is we would like to say that we are your well-being and human development partner. So Calm is a mental health company and a content creator based in Jakarta, Indonesia. We established ourselves in 2017, and we want to help people to get the help that they need. We want to guide individuals to function at their optimal state in order so that they can live their best lives by providing right tools, educational contents, and different programs to reduce stress and other behavioral problems. Calm itself is founded by 3 people. I myself, Lucas Limajaya, and 2 of my co-founders, Angela and Karina. And why did we do what we do? Oh, sorry. So first of all, what is our vision? Our vision is to have a world with no more broken people. And our mission is to achieve this impossible dream is by creating a calm space for anyone, anytime, anywhere it matters. So why do we do what we do? Just a little bit of background of what's going on in the mental health world right now. Actually, there's 1 in 4 people being affected by mental health issue globally. And sadly, sad to say, suicide is occurring every 40 seconds somewhere in the world. And so we, as the co-founders, knowing these facts, we cannot turn a blind eye. In Indonesia itself, 15.6 million of Indonesians are battling with depressions. And now, but out of those 15.6 million, only 8% of them seek professional help. Why is that? For various reasons. First of all, it's because of the stigma of mental health that is still considered as taboo. There is the limited time, lack of mental health facilities available. Just as information, currently in Indonesia, there's only about 3,000 professional mental health providers. And those 3,000 people are supposed to serve about more than 260 million Indonesians. And that's just not enough providers. And lastly, because of the high treatment price. And this problem, again, is not just in Indonesia. I did a bit of a research for Estonia because perhaps there are people, my fellow friends who are Estonians and who live in Estonia. Sadly, in Estonia itself, I found that there's 10 to 20% of minors are suffering from various mental health illnesses. 1 out of 3 youth have self-harm, so they harm themselves, and 1 out of 3 teens suffer from depression. And this is a data from 2016. And so sadly, it's not getting better. The pandemic that the whole world has experienced actually only making it worse. And so these are the reasons why we want to use the evolving online technology and both shedding some light into this global pandemic that's been happening for a long time. And we created this company so that we can be a part of the solution. So what do we do? I think we, as a company, the first thing that we want to do is to educate the people, the world. And so the first thing we do, we want to leverage social media by providing useful mental health education and content for millennials. And so far, we have 81,000 social media followers, more than 11,000 YouTube views, and we see that it has been, we do see that the mental health awareness in Indonesia has been growing, it's been increased and it's getting better. So we are glad about that. We also we launched an app in 2018 seeking to redefine counseling therapy in Indonesia. And creating this app and creating this startup, one of the things that I do appreciate creating a startup in Indonesia is that we do have a very strong community that support one another. As I was building this startup, actually, I work closely, and I do get a lot of advice from other fellow startup founders, such as Abraham Victor from Tarlight. Now he's doing Hangry. Johannes Ardian, who is also one of the co-founders for Lemonilo, another startups in Indonesia, and various other friends and colleagues. And I guess that's one of the perks of having a startup in Indonesia, is that other startups want you to win as well. And that's my personal experience. We also, last year, a lot of businesses also, because of the pandemic, starting to be more concerned about the mental health of their employees, we found that they are looking for a way to provide mental health supports. And so in the middle of 2020, we started to offer a wellness solution for our B2B client as well. So we provide corporate chaplaincy, seminars and workshops that's customizable to the need of the company, as well as with different partners. We provide personality assessment and create other wellness programs and collaborations with different partners that also are concerned about mental health in Indonesia. So far, these are we have different corporate clients and partners who we work with, including Collier International, Lemonilo, Tokopedia, and Ticket.com, as well as we have media coverage from various medias. I guess a little bit of our milestone is that we have been awarded as one of the top 50 healthcare companies in 2019 by International Forum of Advancement in Healthcare, as well as we, thankfully, I don't know how, but we won first place in Backup 2020. I said I don't know how is because I've seen the other competitors, the other people who joined Backup 2020, the other startups. They are great startups. They're amazing, and that's part of what I appreciate the most about joining Backup 2020, this acceleration program, is to meet and chat and entering into this community of startup founders such as Aturin and Plan B and other startups who unfortunately did not win, but they are amazing startups as well. And so we've learned a lot just by talking and chatting with them, as well as the different mentors that's been provided by Bapak Rekraf to support and do this Backup 2020. We learned so much from it. So we do appreciate and we thank you that you have created this program, and hopefully Backup 2021 will also be another success for Bapak Rekraf. And lastly, what I want to say is that I think the whole world right now is very concerned with health, but hopefully we can also be reminded that there is no health without mental health. And so thank you. I think that's it as well for me. I think I only have 10 minutes. I hope I don't got over the 10 minutes I've given. That's it for me.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lucas Limanjaya. This is very encouraging. I mean, for us, Indonesian Embassy and the participants of this webinar, to learn more about Indonesian startup, which is ranging from tourism, and now the startup Calm, that is about mental health. So it is. I personally myself learned a lot today from the presentation given by all of the speaker here. So if there is more question for the speaker. Okay, there is a question for Mrs. Ulane regarding, I think this is related to Pak Lucas Limanjaya, with co-founder of Calm itself. Like because Calm startup is about the healthcare. So in this case, there is a question Dear Ms. Ulana, is there any specific requirement for health professional in health companies like CAM for having Estonian-based company? Like for example, does the health professional in psychology provided by a healthcare company online such as CAM have to have like a registered certificate or something if they would like to have a E-Residency in Estonia to be given their expertise?
So this is a question that you should look for the registry of economic activity. I will throw a link to the chat. And this is the place to check whether your particular activity needs any license. Since I haven't started a health tech startup myself, I cannot answer it right now, but I know where to find the answer. So I will put the link in the chat window so that everybody else who might have the same question about licensing or requirements, then they could also go to the same link.
Okay. Is there more question from the chat?
Ada pertanyaan Bapak dan Ibu? Ada yang raise hand?
Okay, if you want to ask directly, we can
Ibu Marini Auliati.
Ibu Marini Auliati, please go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you.
Silakan.
Hello, perkenalkan, I'm Mariani from Kiwi. So Kiwi is basically we are a digital startup. Okay, sorry. Hello.
Yes.
Hello. I'm Mariani from Kiwi. So we are the digital startup. So basically, our product is we build the online queuing system. We help people to make a reservation or queue using mobile apps. So my question is, if you want to build a network or if you want to make a collaboration with KBRI, for example, and we want our end user in the end is only Indonesian, is it also mandatory for us to have a legal entity in EU, or is it only the residents that we have to get?
Okay. Please correct me if I'm wrong. So your consumer base is in Indonesia?
No, I mean Indonesia. The Indonesian abroad, for example.
Oh, so Indonesian diaspora abroad.
Yes, Indonesian diaspora. So,
okay.
So for example, we want to help the public the service in KBRI, for example. We want to help people to make an online reservation if they want to extend their passport, renew their passport, for example, or if they need to do something related to the KBRI, and they can use our app, for example, to book the reservation. So it means that our application is used in EU by Indonesian people.
I understand. So I guess it's a matter of what it would help you do. Do you think that those Indonesians who are living in the EU, they are using different credit card payment service providers, so that some services that with an Indonesian company you may not have access to, for example, like do you have a need for that? So if you have a need for that, maybe it makes sense. There is no requirement, of course, to have an EU company. If it is if you can build your service so that this Indonesian company can use all the fintechs and the different payment solutions. So if there is no need, then I don't know. It depends like what it would make you what would it make it easier for you in running your business? Would have to look into it a little bit more to understand if it is a roadblock for you that the Indonesians in EU, they have expectation for. Do they have an expectation for invoicing, for example, from an EU company, or like if there's anything that it would help you do, or if it would make something easier for you, right now, from the top of my head, it's hard for me to say yes or no, like it makes sense or doesn't make sense. Like I would have to look into it a little bit more.
Okay, thank you.
There is a question from Studio Kemenparekraf, please, directly.
Hello.
Yeah.
I'm Arifin from Afterbionic. It's a prosthetic orthotic startup. Thank you for sharing before, and I want to ask Mr. Yulen and Miss Yulen and Mr. Asep. That is known, Indonesian market and Estonian and European is very different. I want to ask about the opportunity. What is the best business sector in the Estonian that will grow in the future? About the opportunity in the future, I want to ask about that because maybe I can ask about to my friend or other family to make a residence in a Estonian. Thank you.
If I would know how to predict the future, of course I would be a millionaire already, right? I guess the important thing here to understand is that Estonia as a country is a very small market. So whatever is happening in Estonia is not really relevant for a company coming from a huge market like Indonesia. Doing anything in your home market for the Indonesian customer is potentially bigger than doing something in Estonia. Estonia is simply a gateway to the EU market. So any trend and any development that is currently happening in the EU is clearly a development that you can take advantage of by having an Estonian-based entity. So for example, e-commerce last year grew globally 24%. So things like that are at the moment, they are trends everywhere. So we see, according to our partners in fintech, we see big growth from Southeast Asia in e-commerce companies trying to access the EU market, for example. So this is a growing sector for sure. Health tech probably, everywhere is growing. So these sectors, I think it's universal. It's across EU. It is not specific to Estonia. So whatever you see an opportunity in globally, Estonian entity is basically just a gateway to selling this service to the EU customer.
Thank you, Ms. Ulane. Is there any more question from the audience, whether in Kemenparekraf or in the participant of Zoom?
Maybe I will give an additional information also.
Oh, okay. Mr. Asep, please.
Yeah, you have to remember also about EU is a single market, yes, but EU is not a single culture. So you cannot target all EU just using English. From my experience, you have to target the country in tailored base. So you have to have your marketing copy in Netherlands maybe, or maybe in Portuguese, maybe in Hungarian language, something like that. Because not every country in the EU is speaking English. Maybe in the Baltic area like Estonia, or in Scandinavia like Sweden or Finland, they speak English really well, but not in others place like Germany or maybe in France, something like that.
Okay. Thank you very much for the suggestion and tips, Mr. Asep. So to remind us all that to be able to expand to expand your market into the European Union, we are not only we have to be able to speak English, but we need to have also like I don't know, maybe a representative or someone that can speak their local language as well.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, thank you, Pak Asep. Is there any question?
Is there any question? Probably from our friends from Startup Bandung. Startup Bandung is a community of startups in Bandung, West Java. They are now growing and really excited to learn more about startup ecosystem, both in Finland and in Estonia. Is there any of our friends from Startup Bandung probably that would like to ask question?
If I may, Mbak Sheila.
Yeah.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Yes. From Studio Kemenparekraf.
Yeah, Bapak from Studio Kemenparekraf.
Yeah, thanks. Yes, my question goes to Pak Asep. Yes, Pak Asep, with regard to Tani Hub, I'm already opened the websites, and this is the e-commerce thing. And I think the most of the market are coming from Indonesia.
Sorry,
My question,
you open the wrong website. Tani Hub is not mine.
okay.
But
So
Tani Box.
Tani Box, Pak.
yours is Tanibox.
Yeah.
Tanibox.com.
Yep.
Okay, so my question will be, so how your application to E-Residency in Estonia helps your business grow? I mean, I think most of the market from Tanibox is in Indonesia, but then how the application to open your opportunity in Europe helps you to grow your business in Indonesia?
Okay, so most of my market is in Europe, not in Indonesia. Until now, we don't have any customer from Indonesia because since the very first day, the very beginning day, the traction is coming from USA and also the European countries. So that's why we opened the company in Estonia to target the EU markets, most likely in Germany, most likely in Netherlands, Portugal, and in the Hungary. That's why we opened the company in Estonia.
So your business basically you provide some kind of platforms for business to make their business running well, and then in the most easiest way. Is it right?
Yep. Is it like ERP, but for the agriculture business?
Okay, and that means many countries are. Oh yeah, I see that. Tanibox, your company, established in Narva Mounty 5 Harju Marathon, if I'm pronouncing it right.
Yes.
Harju Marathon, Tallinn, Estonia. Okay, so your client will recognize you as an Estonian business company. Is that right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so do they know that you are actually from Indonesia?
Yes, they do know, because whenever we are doing a video call meeting, I always say I live in Bali, but that's not a problem. What they need to know is they are doing a business with Estonian or European entity. So it's more easy to invoicing them and also to access the payment gateway for them to pay us, to pay our service.
Okay, so to simplify your business, so you're doing your business, you're running your business from Bali, and then your clients are from Europe, and then all done very well.
Yes.
Congratulations
Until now,
for you.
it's done very well.
Okay, so so now your business grows. Can you please inform us how big is the growth from years to years?
From now, currently the Tani Box business not really well in 2020 actually, since the pandemic. Some clients are cutting the contracts because they don't have money to do that, and now we are. That's why I opened the second company as backup to and growing my income. So currently Tani Box in 2021 is not doing really well until 2021. But before the pandemic, it's really well.
Yeah, and I hope when the pandemic is over, your business will revive, ya, Pak.
Yes.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Pak Asep. Congratulations. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Pak Asep, Pak Jubi as well. I think there is a question from previously from Ibu Mariani Auliati that we haven't answered regarding because when she asked about about example, like whether or not if there is a proposal of cooperation with the embassy in regard queuing to take some service from the embassy, like for example to submit a passport application, to submit something legalization. For the time being, like as an government entity, Indonesian embassy application queuing system is handled by the embassy itself. And if in the future, as a government entity, if we are going to subcontract the service to a company, then it will be done through a process of government procurement. I think that is one of the question by Ibu Mariani, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So that is the answer for us, Ibu Mariani, in regard if there is a cooperation in the future regarding queuing system with the embassy. Thank you. Okay. I cannot read it. It's too far away from us.
Yeah.
Bapak Asep, do you need to open a virtual office with Estonian address? There is a question. Yeah.
It's an obligation because you must have an address to conduct the business.
Okay.
And register it to the e-business register.
Yes, so that was also, this was also in my presentation. What I mentioned is that there is an obligatory contact person and legal address in Estonia, and this service is provided by licensed accounting companies. So not anybody can give you an address and contact person in Estonia. Mm-hmm. You have to go to one of the licensed service providers, and we list quite many of them on our marketplace, ranging from very different pricing. Some of them have the minimum package of only the address and contact person, and some of them have, like full set packages with all kinds of whistles and bells, with accounting and Amazon registration and I don't know what not.
Okay, thank you. There is one, maybe Sheila can read it.
And this is a question from Kevin Parekraf. Is there any other country in the EU that has an e-residency market?
Very good question. When you do something that is attractive and interesting, of course, competitors also wake up and try to copy you. So there are some other e-residency programs in other countries. Lithuania, our neighbor 2 countries away, just recently started their e-residency program, which is not quite live yet. It was announced, but it is not possible yet to apply for it. I believe Portugal has an e-residency program, and some other countries have something similar. Their outline and structure is not 100% similar. So you can check it out and see what it gives you.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Olane. Another question is from Escape Nomad. I have another question. Is a non-profit organization registration is possible with e-residency? Or this is like a NGO non-profit organization? Or is it only limited to OU or private limited? Thank you.
That is a good question. You can use e-residency to log into anything and sign all documents. If I'm not mistaken, then to register an MTÜ, which is non-profit organization or NGO, you need to have, I think, 1 person on the board that is an Estonian resident. But I can also Yes, half of the board members, so minimum board members are 2, and half of the board members must reside in Estonia, the European Economic Area, or Switzerland. So somebody from your NGO needs to be here in Europe, including Switzerland. But it is possible.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Ulene. Another question is from Ibu Tetra Tianiafi. Following the previous question about another e-residency policy in the EU, is there any intention to further discover the problem of double taxation? It is very important due to pricing strategy of the product.
Also very good question. We are actually educating our e-resident members as much as we can on the whole taxation topic, and as much as we do to educate them, some things are of course decided on a higher level than us. So we obviously we have to rely on our government making connections to countries, all the countries in the world. At the moment, we have double taxation avoidance agreements with most of the countries where we have a high number of e-residents from. So it is making it easier for those countries for sure. And of course, our government has to create relationships with other countries to make the same, but there has to be a motivation from both sides. Some countries in the world are so big that they don't consider us so important to get into the negotiations with us about this, so it's a little bit out of our control.
Thank you, Ms. Ulene. Another question will be from the studio of Kemenparekraf. Ya, silakan Ibu.
Yeah, I think it is very important to having the policy concerning the double taxation. As we may aware here in Indonesia, for the digital entrepreneur are the startup. They are still the beginner start. They just start the way how to develop the trade using the digital technology, the technology learning. So for that, for me, from the Ministry of Tourism and Economic Creative, please, on behalf of the our country, through our embassy, you have to further discuss about the double taxation policy. Otherwise, it is very difficult. For example, when we want to sell our product, for example, for Muslim product into your market, in European market, can you imagine when the e-commerce or the marketplace we have, for example, here Shopee having halal, for example, I will sell through my digital platform, I will sell my hijab, then how can I show the price? Should using the euro, your currency or Indonesian currency? Is it possible for the buyers only have a tax? For example, I have buyers from Europe citizen, then they just have a tax from their original country, not double tax. You can imagine, I cannot imagine how should we put the price in the product we want to sell in our European market. So for me, it is very important. You have to further discuss with the Ministry of Trade. Otherwise, this very good policy will have a very disadvantageous. Thank you.
If I understood your question correctly, the question of double taxation does not concern the VAT and the sale of physical products into the European Union market. So, for example, in the case you described, it depends a little bit more about the specifics of your business model. So, if you have an e-shop and you sell to the European Union, and somebody in Germany buys your hijab, then this product if you sell it from Indonesia through an Indonesian entity, what is normally done is that it is sent to European Union, and then the end user, the customer, will pay the customs tax if you directly send it to them. If you sell it through online marketplaces, so then you have to, of course, consider that the customer has to understand that when the package arrives, then they have to pay the customs tax themselves to get it. If you have an Estonian company, for example, you could use Amazon. You can use Amazon Marketplace, of course, also with your Indonesian company. But what I was talking about, the e-commerce, then in each market where you want to physically keep your products in a bigger amount or a bigger bulk, then in those countries you need tax numbers and EORI number, which is a customs number. So there's particulars to the physical products, and then if you sell so much that you have to start paying VAT in those markets, then you have to, of course, adjust the price of your product for the customer, because then you know that your profit is going to be smaller by the amount that you are paying in those European countries for taxes. So the European Union market, all the different countries and the different have a different VAT, but having an Estonian company makes it easier starting from July 1st, when the European Union will enforce what is called the one-stop shop for declaring taxes on physical goods. So you can do it through Estonian tax and customs board and basically declare to also the big countries where you're selling. But this is a very thorough topic that needs a lot more depth to understanding how you are selling your products and what channels are you using. And so I cannot answer you like in a comprehensive way so that you would get all your answers right now from me.
So does that mean that in the future, if the participant would like to ask more needed more inquiry regarding e-residency, then they can contact you directly, or whom should they contact, Ulani?
I can be the first point of contact for everybody participating today, and I can forward the questions to those that help us answer like the more specific questions on legal and tax matters. So like I said, we have a marketplace of verified service providers that we have checked and who have the necessary licenses, and then we have many service providers who deal with, for example, e-commerce customers and do their accounting, and they would know all the details about how to declare taxes, and I will put you in contact with the right people if it requires more depth to the answer.
Thank you. Is there more question
From studio Kemenparekraf?
Yes, if I may.
Yeah.
Another question. Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Ulani. My last question concerning the privacy of data, and I would also like to ask the experience from Pak Asep when you apply for the e-residency in Estonia. Do you need to disclose the data of your back end or back office system? Because then it's like our startup for today, Aturin or Calm, they are based. Their operations are based on data of their customers. So, is there any regulations in Europe, or where you are e-residency applicants that you need to disclose such data to the government or to any other authorities in Estonia or in EU? Thank you.
Could you specify what back office data do you mean exactly?
The data from the back office, data from the customers, data from the end users of the applications.
May I answer for him?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, as I saw the data for the user data from your application, you don't need to disclose to the government, but European Union has a framework for the data regulation called GDPR. Yes, it applies not to Estonian only, but to the European and the rest of the world. So even though you are a startup in Indonesia, legally registered in Indonesia, but you have a customer from EU, you are the subject of GDPR. So when you breach the data, can
Face
get
fines.
the fine. Yeah.
So, but this is more about keeping your customer data securely stored. It's not so much about giving it to the government. What the government wants to have from you is obviously data about your beneficial owners of your company who have more than 25% of the company and things like that. So and this information is very transparent in Estonia. So anybody will have access to your last year's yearly report for €2 in a public registry. So like your company's revenue number that you have declared in Estonia and your profit number, it's public information, and you have to let the government know who are the registered beneficiary owners and other such information, but not your customer data, not your it's more about protecting your customer data so that nobody would get a hold of it outside of your company, outside of the processes that you really need the data for, is what GDPR is meant for. So look up GDPR, General Data Protection Regulation.
Rules. Yeah.
Rules.
We have ended our question and answer session because it's already 1:15 to 1:15 Helsinki and Tallinn time. So we would like to invite Mr. Jubilar Baskoro, Jubi, to deliver his closing remarks of this webinar.
Yes, thank you, Bu Erli dan juga Bu Sila. Excellency Ambassador Ibu Ratu Silvi Gayatri yang terhormat, kemudian Pak Neil Himam yang kami hormati, Miss Ulani Filimets, and Pak Asep, Pak Reza, dan juga Pak Lukas Limanjaya yang bergabung secara online. Once again, allow me on behalf of the Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy to express our grateful and appreciation to all the speakers, especially for Ms. Ulani, for sharing us the info with regard to the E-Residency for Estonian in Estonia. And it is, I'm grateful that today that we have revealed that internet or digital technology brings up opportunity for our local startup to go global or to a wider world. So it can make people more connected, as well as companies to expand in wider communities. And E-Residency also opens the opportunity for individuals, companies, freelancers, digital nomads to easily manage and conduct cross-border transactions without establishing a physical business in Estonia. We have witnessed the experience from Pak Asep, where he can comfortably doing his business from Bali. I can imagine that you are now sitting by the beach and enjoy Bali while you are running your business in Europe. So that's a very revealing things, and it's very a tremendous experience from your side. And this so we also have been heard the experience from Calm, and also experience from Aturin, two best startups who participated in backup program in 2020. So from their experience, we also acknowledge that they have the potentials to expand their business to EU markets, because then the customer is no longer only in Indonesia, but now whether if they have suitable products and services for the EU markets, then they can expand their business to EU markets. And to conclude my speech, so let me once again thanking Ibu Dubes as well as the staff from the KBRI Helsinki from the cooperation to conduct this webinar this afternoon. And it is also my expectations that we can also incorporate the result of this webinar into our future joint committee between Indonesia and Estonia in the near future. With that regard, I conclude the speech, and I thanking all the speakers as well as the participants. I'm glad that we are now in Indonesia. We are waiting for the break fasting because now we are in Ramadan. So in a half an hour, we are going to break our fasting. So I'm glad that I have Ramadan in Indonesia because 5 years ago, I was in Tartu, and I have experience doing Ramadan and fasting more than 12 hours. So having a Ramadan in Indonesia is more enjoyable. So again, thank you so much for your participation and active contributions. With that, I conclude this speech, and again, thank you, Mbak Sheila as well as Mbak Erli. And I hope that we can meet again in the near future. So salam sehat. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih semuanya.
Terima kasih Bapak dan Ibu. Thank you for all audience, ambassador, honorable speakers, distinguished participants. We hope that this event will open the window of opportunity, and there will be more and more Indonesian company and professionals to apply, or at least to search on Estonian E-Residency website. And if you have questions, don't hesitate to contact us or to contact Ms. Ulane and Mr. Asad that is already experienced in having E-Residency. And then we would also like to inform you that there will be like a monthly event on Estonian E-Residency. The nearest is in April and May. You can check the website through their website and register, so you can have a comprehensive information about the E-Residency itself. And don't forget to also contact the E-Residency community that already been informed by Bapak Asep. Okay, and then lastly, from the Indonesian Embassy in Helsinki, we'd like to convey our deepest appreciation to all the speakers and participants. Selamat berbuka puasa, have a happy breakfasting, dan selamat have a lunch. Is it lunch time for Ulane?
Yes, lunchtime, because we already taking over her lunchtime.
Thank you very much once again. See you again in the next opportunity or event.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Terima kasih Bapak dan Ibu semua. Terima kasih Ibu Dubes, Pak Nel, dan Pak Jubi, dan semuanya. Pak Asep.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Terima kasih Sheila dan
Sama-sama, Ibu.
Terima kasih Pak Jubi. Nuhun Pak Asep.